Let's just do that. Awesome.
Yay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really, really excited today because we are back to Free Gift Friday. So we've been taking a little time for ourselves over the holiday. I hope everybody's been taking this opportunity to go inside and just do some introspection, to look back at the year that has passed, to take a look at our lives, take a look at our businesses, seeing what aligns, seeing what doesn't, and getting ready, because it's not as yet the rave new year. This is the sort of in between time where we are having this opportunity for this great introspection. The rave new year, I think, is on January 22nd, and that's when I hope we'll all be ready to hit the ground running. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that we're bringing you all the tools that you need to make 2022 a really fantastic year. Now, it's going to be a great year for you in business if you are able to feel really happy about your finances. If you can find joy with your money, then you are on the right track. And so today, to share with us the joy of our money, honey, we have my friend and yours, Jonathan Bengel, joining us to just really get us in touch with what it really, really means to have happiness around our finances. Jonathan, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. And I just want to, for those very few of our members and our listeners who might not know, somehow they might not know who you are, can you share who you are, what you do in the world?
Yes. So I always start out by saying, do you know why you were sent here, especially as an entrepreneur? And would it behoove you if you knew that one of the reasons why you were sent here as an entrepreneur was to relieve the suffering of others and thereby generating happiness for every single one of the people you interact with? So my name is Jonathan Bengel, and I'm an intuitive business tax strategist. I'm an IRS enrolled agent. I'm also a fellow of the National Tax Practice Institute. I also have my bachelor's in business accounting and a master's in secondary education. I am also the author of the ABCs of Deductions, an entrepreneur's guide to tax write-offs. I'm also the creator of the Small Business Financial Happiness Blueprint, which is an online course. And of course, I offer this thing called the Bengel Experience. And what I do really well for the past 19 years is I save heart-centered women, coaches, speakers, and serial entrepreneurs millions of dollars in tax savings while shining the light to their financial security, which is so fundamental, because when we feel like we are secure, we are willing to take a risk, thereby opening ourselves up to more opportunities to ultimately be able to finally live the life that we want to live, which is in pure happiness. And we use our businesses to accomplish that goal.
So it's not often, Jonathan, I'm just going to be very honest with you. It's not often that you hear somebody talking about intuition when we're talking about taxes. Can you say a little bit more about what that means for you, and of course, what that means for the work that you do with your clients?
Yeah, so I discovered a long time ago that our business life is not always around like the left brain thought process, right? Which is like analytical, numbers for numbers for numbers for numbers. But there's this other side of it, which is that spirituality side of business, the woo-woo-ness of doing business. And that's really following that intuition that we all have, right? This capability. And in my case, it just so happens that I'm a vessel for delivering messages to my clients in order to help them to move them forward in their lives. And so I do this by just calming the mind. We all can do this by calming our mind and tapping into the essence of what we're supposed to do. And it just, again, we're just vessels for this information. I happen to have this special little gift, and I just deliver a message, whatever this message happens to be, More often than not, I don't remember, which is why we record all of our calls with our clients, but I digress. It's all about helping them to see it's beyond just, I don't know what I don't know. Because the number one fear, Dr. Davia, that a lot of entrepreneurs have is they have this fear that like, I don't know, therefore I'm ignorant, or therefore I'm not smart enough, or therefore I'm just not enough. And when we have that fear, it creates this barrier. I call it this vortex of uncertainty, and it just sucks everything into its center. And so you can't move past that until you first address some of those issues. So it's kind of bizarre. So I created this online program, right? Small Business Financial Happiness. And really what it is, it's a mindset course built in with the foundation to understand how a business operates so that we can begin to make better business decisions in order to create more money. So the intuition side is just like, I'll just hear these messages and I just deliver them. I'll give you an example. So I have one of my clients, and she owns a med spa, by the way, and she was really afraid to just kind of like step into this position as what we call the CEO of your business, right? If you're the owner and if you're the founder, even if you're a single member LLC or whatever else, we just say CEO because it really creates this sense of ownership, right? It means you're really owning, you're really taking on this power. So in her case, I had this just message that was delivered to me and delivering it to her. And I basically just said, I don't know why, but I get this sensation. This is how it went down. I was like, I get this sensation, but there was something in your past that you did that you really rock and rolled with, and you were very powerful in that place. And it turns out that she put herself through school and provided for her children by working as an adult entertainer, primarily as a stripper. Woo, baby, yeah. But she took this extra cash that she was making and ultimately put herself through school. She got a license to become a licensed medical massage therapist, and now she owns her own medical spa. And so it was kind of like being reminded that you are powerful. She is powerful in that sense. She opened up and told me all about this whole story about that's what she did. And I said, well, now can you imagine if we apply these same principles and rules that you learned by making a whole lot of money? She was a top dog in the industry, let's put it that way. If you can take those same rules and apply them in your business, you will therefore make more money. And so what happens next is the fear that pops up is, well, if I start charging my worth, people will think differently of me. Like they won't do business with me, or they won't want to sell their goods. I can't do anything. They can't move forward because I can't move it because people are going to think differently of me. And I think that's the key phrase, think differently of me. And so then I said, well, let's go ask this question, where is that coming from? And what we later discover is that the reason why sometimes we stop ourselves out of fear is because we hold on to the expectations that others place on us. So people go, oh, you're a business owner, so you should know all these tax loopholes. Oh, you should know all these tax strategies. Oh, you should know your financials. You should know if you're an LLC or not. You should know if you're having a profit or not. You should know, you should know, you should know. And because of all the should-haves, they should all over you, right? So because of all the should-haves, what happens is that the business owner who does not know feels that shame, feels that guilt. And so their own internal light dims. And so what I do is I come in and I say, listen, let's just get rid of all that garbage. Let's get rid of all of that. And let's just shine brighter than we could ever shine before. And by you learning some of these basics, these foundations, it will give you the confidence, which is really walking with faith, right? It will give you the confidence so that you can make better business decisions in your life. Thereby going, I'm now going to charge what I'm worth. I don't have to worry about the IRS because I understand fundamentally how business works that creates these deductions. Thereby, I can go out and take more risks. And by doing so, I'm going to live out the dream that I've always wanted, not only just for myself, but for others. And I call that the Bengel effect.
The Bengal effect. Oh my goodness, that is so, so rich. So you're here, and we need to put you on the spot and get some information that we can use in our businesses. So how can we, what are some of the do's, some of the things that we need to be doing in our businesses for 2020 22 so that we can be happier in our businesses?
Yeah, so the first thing for 22, I don't know about you, Dr. Divya, and all the rest out there right now, but I don't know why, but I just feel, again, the intuitiveness inside of me just says that 22 is going to be the year where things are just going to start taking off for us. And if we planted correctly in 21, then in 22, we're going to see this blossoming happening, right? There's just 22 is a very magical number. And if those that study numerology know, that 22 it stops at 22, and 22 is a divine number, actually. And so it's a very powerful number. So with that being said, how do we create happiness moving forward? Well, the first thing everyone should know right now is that Uncle Sam, our government, understands that your purpose is to make money, honey. That is your purpose. And so if you can step into that and say, you know what, I am going to go make money, and however you want to hustle, but you're going to hustle it to go make that money, then what's going to happen is, and I can promise you this, if you apply the rules of tax deductions as it relates to business income, what you'll find is that your net taxable income will be lower as long as you implement some strategies before the year is out. And so the beautiful thing is now is like for 21, I can't help you. Like if you did not plan for 21, I can't help you. I just can't. All I can do is say, go back into read my book and see if you can just be more open-minded to things you might have missed in 21. But in 22, we can come up with new badass strategies. So what we can do as business owners is to start thinking about, especially for a lot of us, we might have different sources in which we generate our revenue. So what I mean by this is a lot of us, we have one company, but we have multiple products or multiple services that we offer. So take, for example, a speaker, someone who's a professional speaker like myself that goes out. Well, we all know how this works, right? We all know that we go out and we speak from stage like today. The other thing that we often do is we usually offer like a freebie, right? Like come and get a freebie of whatever, right? A gift, like as a way to provide value, as a way to give something, right? Well, that has to all be created somewhere, somehow. Or for example, let's say that you are a landlord and you own multiple properties. So if you own multiple properties, you can also start thinking about, well, I could technically own a property management company that also manages the properties. Or for example, let's say you're someone who loves to flip homes. You might go out and create another company that essentially is the acquisition company that is purchasing the company. And then let's say you're so strapped with cash, meaning you have so much of it, you can even create a fourth company, which essentially is the acquisition company that actually goes out and, is the lending company that actually lends out the money as a mortgagor. So like these are just like grand scheme way of thinking. Or it could be as simple as, take for example, my own business, where you've got a tax prep business, JB Financial, but inside of that, a book was written. So what did I do? I split that out and created a publishing company. Well, what happens here is I go, oh, there's marketing that has to be done for JB Financial. So I split that out and I created another company, Naked Tax Talk LLC. Or I went, oh, there's advisory services inside of tax prep, quote unquote. So what did I do? I created a tax advisory business. So what you can do is start thinking about all the layers of business that you do. So Dr. Divya, I know that you're a chiropractor by trade, right? This is your thing. But like what other revenue streams do you typically think of when you think about how you do business?
Well, in our practice, for example, we do work with patients for holistic healthcare. So for other things that bother them, not just back pain, but diabetes, hypertension, overweight, inflammatory diseases. So there are lots of different things that people come in to see us for.
So you've got services like your standard chiropractic services, like the x-rays and then the adjustments and all that other fun stuff. And then you also kind of go, also, there's a different approach, right? Eastern medicine, so to speak, being applied to some of this stuff, so to speak. So like in this case, you use supplements probably, right? Or prescribe them to your patients. So I would imagine that it's probably your chiropractic company that goes out and acquires the supplements from like a wholesaler or something like that, right? Unless you formulate it yourself. Do you formulate your own
No,
medicine?
we're not formulators.
So theoretically, right, what you could do is that's another opportunity to split your income stream into two places, AKA into two separate businesses. So you could have one company. So I'm giving you some freebies right now.
Oh,
So what
wow.
you could do is you could take one company, could be like the acquisition company, right, that goes out there and gets the supplements at a different price potentially, and then resells it back to your other business, which is your chiropractic care company. Or you can just completely separate the two and one sells the supplements and one just does chiropractic care.
Interesting. I feel like there are so many opportunities for all of our businesses where we can look at things in a completely different way. I want to know, do you have any other quick strategies that you can give us so that we can start getting prepared for what 2022 is going to have to offer us?
Yeah, so one thing that we want to take note of is, ironically enough, if you experienced, now I have to tell you real fast the rules. So this does not apply to S corporations. So if you're a single member LLC, you can actually elect to be treated as an S corporation. So this is very important because the LLC is a legal entity structure. The S Corp is a tax structure. And I actually teach this in Small Business Financial Happiness, but I digress. So if you know your tax status now, so I'm talking to you. So if you are an S Corp, the message does not apply. But if you are a single member LLC, or you are a shareholder of a C corporation, or potentially a partner in a partnership, then what happens is that if you experienced a loss in 21, so we're going to actually go back in time for a moment. I know we want to talk about the future, but first we're going to address the past. So if you experienced a loss in 21, you are entitled to go back in time and essentially carry those losses back 5 years. And then any remaining losses that you don't have anymore can be carried forward for another 20. So why is that important, Dr. Devia? Well, one of my clients, he's an OBGYN doctor, and he purchased for his wife her own indoor playground for children. This is the craziest thing, right? It exists. It's a multi-7-figure enterprise, which is crazy, but I digress. So they went and they spent like $1 million to buy this franchise, right? Well, this particular business experienced, just because of all depreciation, all kinds of fun stuff, this huge loss. I mean, it was massive, close to $1 million. Well, thanks to the American Rescue Plan, it unlocked the ability for us to go back in time. So we got into a time warp machine and we basically went back and we unlocked for them $301,205 that they had originally paid in taxes starting in 2015. So can you imagine they got money back from 2015, 16, 17, 18. They got money in their pocket, $301,000. Why is that important? Well, Uncle Sam recognized that we all are crash strapped right now. We're going through COVID, right? We're going through shutdowns, we're going through all kinds of stuff, and we need cash to keep us afloat, right? Because let's be real, 90% of businesses in America are run by small business owners like ourselves. And government loves money. That's his whole purpose in life, is money, 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 money. So imagine if you experienced a loss in 21, you would only know that if you had financial statements. But if you experience a loss, you can now carry that backwards in time and amend your returns basically to capture that loss. And by the way, you don't have to amend your returns. Use a special form that we use that goes back and captures it all. But here's the rub, Dr. Devia. You technically still are amending the returns. So you still have to do the actual calculations as if you're amending the returns. You just don't have to amend the returns. Bizarre, but that's how it works. And the form is called a 1045. So we got to talk about that first. If you had a loss in 21, fear thee not. You can carry it backwards and free up cash that you would have paid. The second thing about 22 moving forward, some of the things you want to really consider, and always keep this at the top of your mind, is what I'm about to spend money on, is it ordinary and is it necessary in order to generate revenue, right? Generate money, generate a profit. This is the number one questions you have to always answer a yes to. Yes, yes, yes. So the idea here is to change our mindset from the employee to the employer mindset. Because the employee mindset says, I just go out and I'll just buy whatever, whenever I want to. But the employer mindset, which is you, the business owner, is going to say, how does this generate more money in my business? So for example, Dr. Devia, did you know that your business clients, they can set up something called a medical expense reimbursement plan, a MERP, under section 105 of the law. And what it does, and again, it depends on your tax structure, single member LLC, tax as an S Corp or a C Corp or a partner, right? So it just depends. But I digress. Here's what the rules say for someone like you. So Uncle Sam says, look, I'm in the business to make money. That's all there is to it, right? And years subsequently are going to do the same. And Dr. Divya, I have to ask you a question. If I'm a business owner and my back's out of whack, do you think I can generate money with a back that's out of whack?
I'm going to go with no.
Right? It's really difficult. Why? Because I know your patients tell you this, right? I'm in a lot of pain. And I don't know about you, but when you're in pain, you can't really concentrate. You can't really figure things out, right? Like you're just in pain. And so, right, what you do is you say, well, I'm going to relieve you of that pain, right? Through my magic, right? That's what you do. I relieve you of your pain. Yes, right? Therefore, relieve you of your suffering, therefore create happiness, therefore create money. Ah, see? So, right? So Uncle Sam goes, okay, if business owners, if they're designed to make money, then they need to be healthy. So they create this new law. It's back in 2000, gosh, it's recently too. I think I want to say it's 2018, 2019. So essentially it's called a MERP, Medical Expense Reimbursement Plan. And here's how it works. So Dr. Devia is my doctor. She's my chiropractor, right? She's recognized as a medically necessary service in order to continue for me to conduct business. So what I do is I contact a third-party administrator like HRA Base. That's who we use, by the way. And so come to me and I'll hook you up with the right people. But anyway, so what happens is they set you up on this plan, and it's called an accountable reimbursement plan, which is governed legally under this very complex structure called the medical expense reimbursement plan. And why that's important, Dr. Devia, is because when a business pays for things, right, I get a deduction. You and me, we get the business deduction, right? Therefore, reduce our tax. But there's the other side of the equation, which is somebody received a benefit. And so when they receive a benefit, guess what? By law, normally, it's a taxable event. You got to pay taxes on that, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't have money to pay for roads or anything, right? So someone has to pay the receiver of the benefit. So Uncle Sam said, well, you know what? That's not really fair. We're going to remove that from the special division, section 105. And what happens now is I, the business owner, and to my employees, I get to say, you know what? We're going to go to Dr. Devia every Thursday to get our backs adjusted and get stretched and all this other fun stuff so we can continue to make money, honey. And in exchange, my business is going to reduce my taxable income to the business by whatever I pay Dr. Devia.
Interesting. Really, really interesting. This is just so fascinating that there's so many ways that we can be happier in our businesses if we know exactly what we need to do. So you have this course that is upcoming that is all about being happy in your business. Tell us a little bit about when that's going to be coming up so that people can hop on board.
Absolutely. So I'm actually hosting a free webinar next week to kind of go over the highlights of it. I'll talk about it here too. So for those of you that would love to come and support me or just see how it all actually works, I even use real life client examples of what they can do when they implement just these 3 strategies I'm going to share next week. And I'll share them here a little bit too. But just alone, the savings are like in the 40+ thousands of dollars in tax savings by just implementing 3 simple steps. So with that, it's next week on Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And what I'll do, Dr. Divya, is I'll send you the links and we can put them in the show notes and they can go register there, because I didn't get fancy enough and get like a direct URL, you know. So but I digress. Otherwise, you could register for the course itself, smallbusinessfinancialhappiness.com. But basically what it is, it's what I call, well, right now I call it my seed method. But last night I had a divine message from God himself, I swear. I woke up in the middle of the night, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, the witching hour. And I sat straight out of my bed and I went, wait a minute. In all reality, I am successful because I have implemented my own methodology to the madness. And so it's really all of my own strategies that I've implemented. And now I'm teaching people like yourself how to do it. So I originally called it my seed method, but I'm actually going to change it to the Bengel method. So I digress. So what it boils down to is this. I took now we'll just say the seed method, and I basically teach it. So it's one day a week on Wednesdays from 2 to 3:30 Mountain Standard Time right now. And what it is we first talked about that profit mindset. That was earlier I just mentioned, right? That mindset. I can talk to you all day long about numbers and taxes and tax strategies. And, you know, I can do all that all day long. We know this. But we really won't make progress until we really start to believe here that we are capable of doing all those things that we have to do. And so the very first day, what we do is I introduce you to the most powerful person in the room, which is your soul. And so I do that first. And I also go over what is the root of all evil, because I discovered it's not money, honey, because when you're someone like me who did not come from money, from extreme poverty, and I don't need to find this, and I say this over and over, and those of you who know the story are like, oh gosh, here we go again, but I have to emphasize it. Imagine for a moment what it is like to live on just $500 a month and you're raising 2 children. Imagine what it's like to be a child, and some of us may have been there before. Imagine for a moment, though, what it's like to have to like scrounge and try to find food in cabinets or food in refrigerators, hoping that you'll get something to eat. Or imagine for a moment going to school and you're wearing clothing that has holes in it, or you got pants that come up like they look like shorts, or you have shoes with no soles on the bottom because your parents can't afford to buy you new things. Or how embarrassing it is when you would go to school on the first day of school and everybody around you had new jeans and new clothes and new supplies, and you literally walked in with just nothing but just the clothes you wore from a year or 2 ago, or better yet, a backpack with holes in it, or a pencil that was this big because that's all you could really afford. I am not joking here. It's crazy. It is so crazy. So I personally have a problem with the statement that money is the root of all evil, because it's not necessarily the money that's the problem. It's what we do with the money that is the problem. And if you ask me, and I say this all the time in my class, the root of all evil is the expectations that others place on us. That is the real root. And if we can learn how to cut that out and to say, you know what, I will not allow your expectations of who I should be dictate my life. This is when we're able to really step into that power. And really, that's what it's about. It's about being able to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to buy something from you unless there's a business incentive to do so, right? Yes, it's ordinary. Yes, it's necessary, right? Or better yet, I'm not going to let you dictate my prices or my value. I'm not going to let you dictate how I want to show up in the world. So we have to learn to shred that and let that go, and then take on a new identity. Elton John said it very aggressively, but I loved what he said. And he said, sometimes you have to murder the person you thought you were born to be in order to become the person that you are. So it's really fascinating to hear that, because he's saying, listen, if you just get rid of that old persona, that old person that we thought we were, and instead accept our true, genuine self of who we are, then like what I say, there's nothing there that will stop you. And I don't know about you, Dr. Gavia, but this year for 22, my theme is speak your truth.
Ooh, I love that.
Speak your truth. Because along the way, when we speak our truth, and by the way, let me say this too, let's also remember that every single one of us right now is playing a film in front of our eyes. So I look out right now and I see my monitor, I see your beautiful face, I see my phone, I see all of this, right? And every single person or experiences are showing up. It's kind of like the movie. So Dr. Davia, you're playing a role in my movie, right? Everyone's playing a role in my movie. And what I know is that I'm experiencing my truth from my own lens. So that's what I'm experiencing is my truth. And as long as I own my truth and I speak my truth, then there's no words or actions that can stop us from fulfilling our life's purpose. Does that make sense? So
Wonderful.
so what
Speak
are
your
those
truth. That falls right in line with, the Ladies Power Lunch theme for 22, which is you've been called to be seen and be heard. So I love the synergy that's happening here between what you're doing and what we're doing and what we hope for our listeners and our viewers. I know it's Free Gift Friday and we're giving away a free gift. The free gift winner for today is Jen Jones. Can you tell her what it is that she's won?
Jen Jones. Well, congratulations. But you are actually entitled to a free ticket. Well, it's actually not technically free because let's be real, but I digress. You, my friend, have just won access to small business financial happiness. And so for you, we are going to cover the entire cost for you to attend this class. So it's valued at $2,997. That is essentially what you're going to get to pay for this class, if that makes sense. So it's a wash. You're going to come join us. It's for you to have access to. It's 5 wonderful weeks. And I promise you, I will change your life. I just talked about the profit mindset. That was just a flavor. But let me tell you what else you're going to get out of this whole experience. When you walk away, you're going to know how to separate yourself from your business if you're not already doing it. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to think about your business in a whole different way. Another thing I'm going to teach you is how to actually pay yourself out of your business and when to pay yourself. One way is tax-free, the other one is not tax-free. And then I'm also going to teach you how you actually borrow money against your own business so that you can go do some of the things that you want to do. I'm also going to teach you about those entity structures I just talked about. S Corps, C Corps, partnerships, LLCs, so that you can feel empowered. So when people do ask you these types of questions, because we're all business owners, we're all curious, you will be able to say with confidence, what is your legal structure? More importantly, what is your tax structure? Not only that though, but we're also going to talk about some advanced deductions. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you have children right now, I want you to know that we're going to go into detail how to hire your children to do the work. And by doing so, as long as they're at a certain age limit, it's actually a tax-free event to everyone involved. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'll tell you right now,
I have kids, so I probably need to sign up for your course so I can learn how to pay my children.
It's an automatic 15.3% reduction in tax by hiring your children.
Let's do it. Let's do it. This sounds like an outstanding program, and I'm going to invite you to, in the show note, just drop some more details about what the program entails and all the links so that people can tune in and get really, really good idea of what it is that you are offering. Yes. And I want to say thank you so much to you, Jonathan, for just being such a great friend to the podcast, being such a great friend to the show, and being such an active member of the Ladies Power Lunch community. I want to thank everybody who joined us over on the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group today, and I will see you guys on the next show. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.